Welcome back to the Out of the Rough podcast. My name is Nate, and joining me as always is my co-host Jake. Jake, three straight winners of the PGA Tour after going cold the entire season. You're on a bit of a hot streak, so I'm sure that you're feeling pretty good this Monday evening.
Yeah, Nate, a little bit of a dud of an event, I would say. Definitely didn't play as I thought it would, considering Cam Young lapped the field here, even though if you take him out of contention, 13 under is pretty, tough conditions and whatnot, but they didn't grow the rough out really at Doral. And I mean, wire to wire, the biggest sweat I had was on hole one when they called the self-imposed penalty on himself. Then he immediately stuck it to, decent distance, but a makeable putt. And sure enough, he made par on that good karma. Um, but yeah, really no sweat there. Nate, I'm hoping to rub some of my heat off on you. Both of us pretty ugly on the DP World Tour, but hoping to get back into it this week. Let's find one. We've got three events, Nate. Let's
Gotta
just
be
cover
one.
them all.
Yeah, let's split it up. Or I think we have one event with a bunch of doubles, so we'll start there, and then you can have one of the other ones, and I'll have the other one, and we'll
Deal.
call it a week. Yeah, I mean, I went into Sunday with Wenye Ding in one stroke back of the lead in Turkey. I was like, oh, maybe this is finally it. And I woke up early on Sunday. I checked the leaderboard, and I was like, it is not it. I'm going back to bed because he was way out of contention. I think he finished like T13 when it was all said and done. Mikkel Lindberg got his first victory. Good to see that. He's fun. He's a fun golfer to watch with the length and all of that. Shout out to him. Shout out to you. Three straight on the PJ Tour is a hard feat to achieve, so doing that is impressive. Matt Fitzpatrick twice, basically, and Cam Young there. And again, it was low odds, but you played the card correctly and you got the winner, so it doesn't matter how it goes in, but it went in. So we'll keep the streaks going. Well, hopefully I can contribute here besides just Matt Fitzpatrick a few weeks ago and start getting some wins in my win column here. Three events this week, though. So, like you said, we have some chances to get into that winner's circle. The Truist Championship, another signature event. This stretch has been awful played by the PGA Tour, in my opinion. I was looking at some of these guys for the Myrtle, and half of them haven't played in 5 weeks because you had the Masters, RBC Heritage, the Zurich, which they probably did play, and then two signature events. So it's been pretty poor on their end. But we have that. Then we have the Altfield event this week at the ONEflight Myrtle Beach Classic in the DP World Tour is taking on the new what is it, Estrella Dam Cataluyna
Yep.
Championship Classic, something like that.
Yeah, one of those.
Championship. It's some kind of event. Either
Yep.
way, a lot of talk about Jake's. We won't bore the people here with an introduction. They already know what's going on. Where can people find you on social media?
Yep, you can find me at JakeOOTR, where post all my outright betting cards. I'm gonna skip through the normal intro and make it a little brief here. Join the Discord completely free. A lot of great features in there, a lot of great people who share a lot of good insight. Also, be sure to check out the website. A lot more free resources to have at your fingertips. All of our articles are posted there. Be sure to take a look at that and just reach out to Nate or myself, and we'll get you the link to join the Discord.
Yeah, we're gonna, try to process this one a little bit faster. We're both dead tired. We're both extremely exhausted. Three events to talk about, and it's rather late at night what we're used to recording as of late. Do need to shout out our boy Sauce with the double last week in the Discord. Again, we have a community waiver tracker where I track every single person's bets, and we help each other across the finish line and congratulate each other at the end. Follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at NateOOTR. Be sure to follow Out of the Rough on all forms of social media at Out of the Rough. On the website, stroke scene, putting per grass type on there, the Out of Rough one and done, the newsletter, everything you need is on that website, free of charge. Everything we do is free of charge. Not a single dollar needs to be spent. So check all of that out. All right, Jake, we have the Truist Championship, another signature event, and the final stop for the PGA Championship. Last year, of course, held at the Philadelphia Cricket Club because the Quail Hollow Country Club, Golf Club, excuse me, hosted the PGA Championship. So we're back here this year for the Truist Championship. The first time we're playing at Quail Hollow under the signature sponsorship of Truist. Before it was the Wells Fargo. Last time we were at Quail Hollow. We know what we're getting. The field. The only thing we're missing here is Scotty Scheffler because he doesn't play the week before majors. There's no surprise there. Russell Henley, world number 8, is also out. So that means Rory McIlroy is our headliner this week. We do have some previous winners. Max Homa won here in 22 and 19. Jason Day in 2018. Brian Harman in 17. Ricky Fowler in 12. And Lucas Glover in 2011. So Quail Hollow returns to the host of the Truist Championship, a George Cobb design in 1959. And again, this is one of the more recognizable, storied venues in the world of golf. So if you've paid attention to golf in any bit of the last couple decades or even last season, you know what you're getting this course. It's a championship caliber course. It is you're going to get some major conditions, of course, not to what was of last season with, the narrower fairways, the grown out rough. We're going to have a bit of wider fairway, but it is a complete, a well-rounded tee to green game to compete here. Not necessarily bomber's paradise, but advantage to those off the tee, as if most championship courses. We do have uh, wider fairways, I mentioned, shorter rough. That helps those the lack of distance compete here. Long iron play is crucial here, 175 plus with the proximity. Require scrambling to save pars this week. Bermuda greens, they're a big advantage to those who can avoid three putting that can derail anyone's round. Blah, blah, blah. We know what we're getting. This is no different track. This is the first year. Quail Hollow's popped us at us. We know what we're getting. We saw it last year for Major. We've seen it in years past for Majors. Quail Hollow, championship caliber course, not, grown out to be a major, but it's going to play tough, challenging, and you know what we're getting. Anything to add here, Jake?
No, just that I ran my model very similar inputs to last week. I think the same mold is going to play really well here. And, I mentioned at the top of the hour last week that all these guys that skipped, I'm like, oh, I have a lot of interest in them. And that might be foreshadowing, some of our picks here. But I'm excited to play some of these guys off of some rest.
Yeah, and again, we're not trying to speed run this and avoid, giving out information and we're trying to give as much information here, just a lot to give out. So if you're looking for more, dig into our website, otrough.com. Both of our articles are on there for both PGA Tour events, my DP World Tour article on there as well. If you want a really full in-depth breakdown, so head over there. But moving right into our betting card here, Jake. I think I have three, you have four, we have two crossovers. So I'll start here with our first crossover. That's Xander Schauffele, 12-1. Technically, I think we both have them boosted either way. But, starting here with Xander Schauffele, this is a two-time major champion, a PGA Tour Open 2 years ago. Currently third on tour in scrambling, eighth in bogeys, ninth in par fives, ninth in tee to green, 11th on approach, 18th in driving, total driving, 36th in green regulations. 41st in proximate hole from 175 plus, 60th in strokes gained putting Bermuda. The list goes on and on here. And the guy's been in amazing form. Ninth at the Masters, fourth at the Valspar, third at the Players, 24th at the API, seventh at the Genesis. It's not like he's been, in cruise control. He's been there knocking on the door for 2 months, 3 months straight at this point. He's been rather good at this venue over the last four seasons as well. We're talking 28th a season ago at the PGA. Prior to that, second in consecutive seasons between 23 and 24. Also placed 14th here in 21. Jake, I know you're on with me here. Everything to like about Xander Schauffele, the course history, the form, the models, all of it. He popped in my model, and I had to find a way to make it happen and get him on the card this week because you mentioned it, like those who skipped last week. And again, maybe a little more foreshadows, move on.
Yeah, this was my auto bet of the week, and he won just 10 starts ago. People forget that. He won at the
Yep.
Baker Classic back in October. Obviously, that was last year, but still, just 10 starts ago, playing some awesome golf. Everything that you covered here, just he was an auto bet for me, and I was gonna build my card around him. So that's what I ended up doing.
Perfect. All right. Who's your first non-crossover? I'll hit the next one.
My first non-crossover guy here is going to be Justin Thomas.
Yep.
I'm just taking my shot here. I think he's going to win this year. I think he's coming back from injury, right? So he's still getting his feet wet and still getting his bearings and ironing out his game here, but he fits the course really well and he's proven that over time. He won the PGA Championship back in 2017 here. He has an additional four top 25 finishes over his career at this golf course. And what does Justin Thomas bring? He brings that plus distance, those sharp irons, and he's a very solid short game. The putters kind of let him down during the year, and it's been a little inconsistent. But that being said, the around the green, incredible. The irons are inconsistent to start this year, but over the long term, he's one of the best iron players on the PGA Tour. He brings that plus distance I'm looking for, and at 66-1, I was not ready to pass him up this week. I'm happy to call my shot on Justin Thomas this week.
Yeah, for sure. Calling your shot. I mean, you won a signature event a season ago. The RBC Heritage, one here in the majors. We know what Justin Thomas is, and it's again just if it's the right time, I guess, returning from injury. If this is the week where it all finally falls together, the body's holding together and holds up right, getting himself across the finish line. Huge number for a guy who's won majors here, won a signature event as much as a season ago. We'll see what happens with JT here. And you mentioned it, one of the best pure iron players the world of golf has to offer. All right, let's jump backwards now, Jake. I know you moved to your 66-1. Let's
All right.
move back to our 18-20 to 1 wherever we have him. All right. Preface this, I gave you slack for playing this guy early this season, and I warned you, and then he went on to blow a big lead on Sunday, and then I was like, "Yeah, I told you, Jake." You're like, "I know I didn't listen," and I was like, "I'm never going to play him again." And you said the same thing, and here we are, Ludwig Oberg, 18-1, 20-1, wherever you have him at. Yeah, it's probably going to bite us in the butt come Sunday. There's no doubt about it. But man, last played the Heritage, he was fourth. Prior to that, 21st at the Masters, fifth at the Valero Texas Open, fifth of the Players, third of the API. Last played Quail Hollow just once, missing the cut of the PGA Championship a season ago. Throw that out the window. Who cares? He is currently seventh on tour at Tita Green. He's ninth in total driving and par fives, 10th approximate hole for 175 plus, 15th on approach, 21st in Great Relations. He's 29th in strokes gained putting Bermuda. Like the putter's been what his problem in years past, and is rolling rather well. Top 30 in strokes gained putting Bermuda. All of that. Amazing form. We'll just see if it's all four complete rounds. It's usually, there's one of those that hits him out of it. I mean, we know that he can do it. He won a signature event a season ago. The Genesis, moved over to Torrey Pines last year, right? It's been a while. It's time. It's time for him to get past whatever that mental hurdle may be, get another big one in the books, and winning a signature event at a course as historic as Quail Hollow will definitely be considered a big one for Ludwig Oberg.
Yeah, Nate, four top five finishes in his last five starts. It's just the underlying numbers are so stupid on Aberg that he's scorching in the model. 18, that's seems like a fair number. Like
It does.
if he converted even one of these, he'd probably be in that Cam Young 9, 10, 11, 12 range where, you have Cam Young and Fitzpatrick, two of the hottest golfers on the PGA Tour right now are sitting, and you're just getting the guy who feels due at the best number. I couldn't I was hoping that you would text me and say, "Do not bet Ludwig. We're
We
not doing it." And instead, I get a
both,
text
yeah.
message from Nate on Sunday saying, "I might do it." And that's all I needed because I was right there with him. So here we are, Nate. Hopefully, you know what? All we can ask for is a Sunday sweat, right? That's what we're in this for. So hopefully Ludwig can get us there and maybe we can get lucky.
That's funny because I was looking for the same thing when I texted you about playing Oberg. I was hoping you were going to be like, "Hey, let's not do this again," and you were all on board. And we had the same mindset, and here we are with Xander Alberg at the top of the board, and making a 2, 3, 4 man card around him.
Yep, here we are. All right, moving into my last play here. I said if I got a 75 on this guy, I was taking him no matter what, and it's Gary Woodland. That's exactly where I got him at. I think he's still around 70. I totally endorse that number. It's to me, there's such a small bucket of players that could win this week and who have the skill set to do it. And I think that Woodland comes in at like that really high odds that I think that he can do it. Bomber off the tee. The irons have been awesome over the last couple weeks. The putter has been cooperating over the last couple weeks. He obviously won the Texas Children's Houston Open. I feel like I bet him every single week, except for that one. But just going over, like, the story is real. He's just, he looks like he's ready to win again, right? He's a US Open winner. He's played Quail a ton of times throughout his career. He has a bunch of top finishes here, two top fives, and, another plethora of top 25 finishes. I think he's played this course like 12 times. He has the course history. He has the exact game that I'm looking for here. And it's 75 to 1. I'm happy to take my shot on a former US Open champion.
For sure. And again, it's your guy. You told yourself 75-1, I'm playing him. You're doing what you said, not going back on your word like we did with Oberg there. So can't doubt you there. A recent winner not that long ago. So, and it would be, good to hush the haters after his win. There was a lot of people being like, well, it was a weak field. It was a regular season event. There was no Scotty. There was no this. There was no that. So have Gary Woodland come out here, won an event like this, and there could be no one doubting them at that point.
Yeah.
All right, so I have one long shot to add to my 2 man card, so a 3 man card technically, but I'm adding Alex Smalley at 90-1. And this is kind of another guy that's been like one of my guys that I've bet a bunch over the last 2, 3 seasons. 28th here a season ago at the PGA Championship. This is at Quail Hollow, 18th and 23. So a little bit of course history and some good form coming this week. He was seventh last week at the Cadillac Championship, also the runner up alongside teammate Hayden Springer at the Zurich. 14th of the Valero Texas Open, 21st of the Texas Children Houston, 46th of Valspar, and 24th of the Players, dating back to March. So a great run of form coming in here. 10th on tour in green regulations. He's 16th in approach, 24th in proximity to the hole for 175 plus. Strokes game tee to green right there with 24th on tour. So the stats line up here for Alex Smalley in good form. I just could not leave it out there at 90 to 1 simply because he's a guy that I've bet quite a bit in the years past and, been kind of fond of, especially DFS plays and all of that with Smalley. Good form, everything's around him. 90 to 1 for a flyer with Oberg and Xander at the top of the card. So there's not much else to it.
Yeah, Nate, I like it. If this guy, I mean, the putter is green. If he can get that spike putter week where he's gaining a stroke per round, everything else is there for him. So I really like the call at 90 there.
We can hope. All right, that's it for the Truist Championship. That may be the quickest preview we've ever done on this podcast, which
Yeah.
usually we tell ourselves, we'll be quick, and then it's never quick. And here we are. We're through one event, so let's not slow down now. Jake, ONEflight Myrtle Beach Classic, the third year of this event. We're back here, what is it, the Dunes Golf and Beach Club. Uh, yeah, so this is the second of four alt field events on the season. The next two will be playing opposite the Scottish and the Open. Um, yeah, and this event is scheduled to possibly steal some views away from the Truist Championship, which is weird to say, but that is because Brooks Koepka will be teeing it up this week in this alt-field event, looking to claim victory and secure a full PGA Tour exemption and card and all of that moving forward. So Brooks is here, and alongside him, some good names. You have Nikolai Hojgaard, Marco Panch, Aaron Rai, Pearson Cootie, Sammy Valimaki, Rasmus Hojgaard, Jordan Smith, and Johnny Kiefer. Chris Goddard with the inaugural playing in 24 last season. Ryan Fox claimed victory, and of course, both are now playing the Truist. So no defending champions or former champions here at the Dunes Golf and Beach Club. Par 71, 7,347 yards. Annually ranked as one of the top 100 golf courses in the United States. A Robert Trent Jones Sr. design, one of his earliest designs in 1948. It has appeared on the PGA Tour for the first time 2 seasons ago, but the course has hosted many high-end tournaments, including the Charles Schwab Cup Championship on the Champions Tour between 94 and 99 and the USGA Women's Open in 1962. It is known for its three-hole stretch nicknamed Alligator Alley, which includes four holes 11, 12, and 13. And that stretch of holes is the course's most famous hole, the 590-yard par 5 13th name Boomerang. Just the name suggests, it is a hole that sweeps right around Dunes Lake. The course underwent some modifications in the last 20 years by Trent Jones's son, Reese. Blah, blah, blah. The biggest changes there were the greens were converted to champion ultra dwarf Bermuda grass to perform better in the winter. They are large in size at 6,000 square feet. Fairways this week are rather narrow, running 20 to 25 yards across and are heavily tree lined. The rough consists of 2-inch overseeded ryegrass. Holding the greens out of the rough will be hard as they are firm greens, and as many of 16 of 18 greens are also bunkered on the left and right. The other two are bunkered on the right. Jake, anything here to add about the Dunes Golf and Beach Club or this event as a whole?
No, just bombs away here. That's pretty much what I modeled my card off of here. Just, I mean, between Ryan Fox and Goddard up, the two previous winners, I think
Yeah,
that's enough proof that, and also look at the launch pad. These guys have, they've won multiple tournaments on the PGA Tour since that win. So this is a good launch pad for these guys here.
for sure. These alt-field events, Puerto Rico is the same thing. Like Victor Hovland got his first victory there. Like these are events that if you are to win this, is a career changer. But Jake, I got four guys in the card. How many you got?
I've got five.
All right, so lead us off.
Yep. So I started my card off here with Brooks Koepka. I got him at 18 to 1. Just I was shocked to see an 18 next to Brooks Koepka in this field. I've mentioned it, I think, every single time Brooks has teed it up in a non-major or elevated event here, in the sense that this guy does not want to play these tournaments. Like, he wants to win to get his full status back and to do nothing else but just play his signature events and his majors, get his paychecks, and sit on the beach with his very attractive wife. He does not want to play this tournament. He doesn't want to play the Cognizant. He doesn't want to play any of these crappy tournaments. So him teeing it up this week kind of speaks volumes to the fact that I think he is super motivated, and he said to himself, this is a course that fits my game well, in the sense that I've led the PGA Tour in a sense from tee to green at points during the season. I need my putter to cooperate on greens that I don't need to be the best putter on to win. And I don't have to play these stupid events anymore. That's probably what he's saying to himself on the couch right now. Obviously hasn't played here before, but has the game I'm looking for. If the putter cooperates even in the slightest, I think he has the motivation to just rip this band-aid off and to be done playing these events for the rest of his career.
Yeah, what do we know about Brooks Koepka in years past? He didn't want to play regular events. He just wanted to play the majors essentially, and that was it. So the fact he's playing an alt-field event after having, a tens of millions of dollar contract with Live and all this money and glory he's won over his entire career to be teaming up at an event like this definitely hurts Brooks Koepka on the inside. You know that darn well. So you know he wants to come here, just, mop the field with the floor or the floor with the field, excuse me, and move on, like you said. So a good play there. Again, in the 20s is a fantastic number for Brooks Koepka on this field, no doubt about it. I'm leading my card off here with Mac Meisner at 30 to 1. And again, alt field event slash fall series event. Mac Meisner is going to pop in your model. He's 19th on tour and proximate the hole from 150 to 200, 41st in green relations. He's 58th on approach, 59th in scrambling, 63rd in distance. So he's got some plus distance, good irons all around. Do like to see that. Some good form coming this week. Play the Zurich, where he and partner Matt McCarty were 10th, 30th at the Valero, 20th at Texas. He did play this event a season ago where he missed the cut. So be at 30 to 1 though for someone like Mac Meisner, a super well rounded guy, great irons, plus it's off the tee. That's where I'm opening my card.
Yeah, Nate, I love the play. Mac is one of these alt field slash swing season guys that I always have circled, and I know that you do too. Just a very well-rounded guy, and again, this is a launch pad, and I think that this guy has such a well-rounded game that he could be course proof one day in a sense. So I like the call on Mac, and I'm supportive of it if he gets it done this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be, I really wanted to bet Rasmus Hogard, but he's in like zero form whatsoever, and I think this course is fantastic for the Hogard twins as well.
Yep.
So we'll see if that comes back to bite me, but no, I'm happy with Mac here.
Yep. Moving into my next play here, it's Matty Schmidt. I got him at 44 to 1. I think he's going to be awfully popular. The form's been kind of weird, but again, he's another one of these fall swing slash alt field guys that I think just has a unique skill set where he could win. He finished seventh at this event last year. He missed the cut in the inaugural playing in 2024. It's been touch and go, right? He's made almost every single cut, I believe. I think he missed one. He missed three cuts this year, all at the beginning of the season. He's made about seven or eight in a row. He had a T9 at the COG, a T5 at the Puerto Rico Open, a T10 at the Zurich, just these weirder field, weaker field events. This is where this guy tends to shine. And what does he bring? He
Hmm.
brings that plus distance off the tee. The irons have been cooperating recently, and he brings a hot putter. So he brings everything I want this week at 40-41. I'm happy to take my shot, but he's going to be awfully popular.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He has proven to be like kind of that alt field guy that's always in contention, like a alt fielder, like a regular season event. Like he have a chance for a top 10 automatic Schmid kind of automatic. So again, going to be popular, but again, there's a reason he's going to be popular. And we've seen if you are to buy into the Wheel of Death, all of that, we've seen winners on there left and right the last, what, 3 weeks essentially.
Yep.
So very well could have another one here in Matty Schmid getting across the finish line. A similar route here. This guy may be popular. I have not ventured on Twitter much at all because I've been so busy. But Adrian Dumont, Nature's Heart, 40 to 1. My first click this week because of the length of the tee with a competent approach game and the ability to go low in a hurry. He's 19th on tour in scrambling, 34th in distance. He's 55th approximate hole from 150 to 200, 56th in birdie or better, 69th in par 4, 73rd on approach. A decent putter, 95th in strokes gained putting Bermuda, but he's last missed a cut at the W Phoenix Open, which is in February. Six consecutive cuts since then. Zurich was he last played, where he and partner Davis Chatfield were 17. Prior to that, 49th at Valero, 12th at the Texas Children's, 26th at Valspar, 26th in Puerto Rico, 23rd at the COG. Missed the cut here a season ago, and 40th in 2024. This is a guy who shot a 58, I believe, last year or 2 years ago on the Corn Ferry Tour, so we know he can pour him in a hurry if need be. But he just has that great combination of super long, he's got competent irons, can roll it decently, and he can go low in a hurry. And I think that's exactly what you need here at the ONEflight Myrtle Beach Classic. And I just had his name circled, and I knew I was going to play him pretty much no matter what. So we'll see what comes of that. So 40 to 1 here for Adrian.
Yeah, Nate, definitely a popular one on Twitter this week, but again, he fits the bill really well, and we send our picks in with a lot of these guys who put a lot of research in, so I'm not necessarily a wheel of death, quote unquote,
Yeah.
believer. I think we put in a lot of work. I know a lot of other people on Twitter put in a lot of work as well, so maybe it's just the right play, and that's what's happened over the last couple weeks. And I think Dumont D'Orsay kind of fits that bill this week too. Like you said, he could dump birdies in really, really quick, and that's what you're looking for in an alt field like this. Moving into my third play this week, another popular one. I loaded up the board, saw Blades Brown at 75, and said, I'm going to take a shot on an 18-year-old. He just, like I said, it's a launching pad, and this kid feels like he has so much potential. He, at one point this season, shared a lead with Scotty Scheffler after, I believe, 36 holes.
Yep.
Obviously, that didn't come to fruition, but he has a third place finish at the Puerto Rico Open. He's been playing on the Corn Ferry Tour simultaneously, where he has a third place finish and a second place finish since that Puerto Rico Open. He played at the Zurich where he finished T26. I don't really read too much into that. But again, this is just, I believe in 2024, I think this was his first start and he made the cut. He finished T26 on the PGA Tour. He finished T37 the last year. It's just, this kid is going to be special. And I could not pass up 75 on a course where, you know, Goddard won at 150, and now we're looking at Goddard's 30 to 1 routinely or 40 to 1. And now we have Ryan Fox who won, and now he won the Canadian Open after that, and he, spikes throughout the year. So I'm taking my shot on Blades Brown 75. I think he's bet all the way down to like 40 or 45. Don't love it as much there, but
Wow.
he's going to be a young special talent on the PGA Tour for years to come.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this is the event where like the top whatever got like a free flight or something, and he was playing in Bermuda or somewhere in the Caribbean, then took a red eye. Like it was one of those events that's like Sunday through Wednesday.
Mhm.
In the early season, he took a flight from there to like Phoenix or something to play the PGA Tour. So like he played a legitimate week full of golf, like from
Yeah.
Sunday to Sunday, like insane stuff. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a special, special kid, special, special talent. So get on it early and see if it gets cash before he really comes on the scene and blows everyone out of the water.
Yep.
Next play for me, Sam Ryder, 75 to 1 in this event's short history. Ryder has some good course history. 13th a season ago, 26 and 24. Missed the cut in the last out of the Zurich, as you mentioned. I can probably throw him into the window, but 21st of Valero, 60th at the Texas Children Houston, and 64th at the Valspar. 18th on tour and approach, 22nd par 4, 52nd stroke team per Bermuda. Not the longest is the problem here if we are to buy into that 120 in average driving distance, but he's very good on the irons, very good in putting, at least above average in putting, really, really good irons, top 20 there. But the course history is what kind of tipped me off here for everything. Again, there is exceptions to the rules and everything we talk about. We did just talk about, distance off the tee being key here with Goddard and Ryan Fox winning, but you're going to have exceptions to the rules. And I think Ryder or Sam Ryder could be one of those, especially at 75 to 1, like it's baked in the price, right? In an alt field, they're playing a 75 to 1 guy. Again, elite irons can carry him. The putter can roll. Just hope that the long irons can keep him in contention with these guys who can bomb it off the tee.
Yeah, this is a guy who in these alt field events just always seems to show up or have a really good run where you're like, oh, he's at the top of the leaderboard here. And, like you said, it's mainly due to those irons and that flat stick. So I can't fault you at the number for taking your shot on Sam Ryder. Moving into my fourth and second to last play here, it's Carl Phillips, just a guy who I'm very fond of. I hit him in his first PGA Tour victory, last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. Just a guy who seems to pop randomly. Um, just distance off the tee, could spike with the irons. He's been phenomenal with the putter this year. Like I was shocked. I think he's 10th on the PGA Tour with the putter this year. So again, a guy who's got the distance, who's got a little bit of inconsistent irons, but if those irons are hot at 80 to 1, the putter's been rolling for him. And I think that he is a viable candidate to win. Another guy who could just launch pad out of here. He won the Puerto Rico Open last year. I think that this is another good opportunity for him if he keeps the ball relatively in play. The driving accuracy could be a bit of a disaster, but you could say the same for Ryan Fox, 9 out of 10 weeks, and he won here. So that's why I went with Phillips here at 80.
No doubt about it. Yeah. Was it last year you won in Puerto Rico? 2 years ago at this point? Man, it's
It was
been a while.
2025.
Was it okay? Okay, but yeah, again, alt field winner already, right? So get a second alt field event that kind of pull him pretty forward into the process. So again, jumping off pad for someone like Phelps potentially, but fits the mold right. And you're talking these guys. We're talking now that these guys are 50, 60, 70, 80 to 1 in an alt field event for a reason. It's not like we're fighting. This isn't like a 70, 80 to 1 in a regular field event. This is a alt field event, so it's extra diluted. So yeah, can't doubt you there. My final play, AJ Ewart at 90 to 1, and I think this is a bit disrespectful to him. 20th of the Zurich in his last outing with partner Casey Jarvis. Prior to that, 30th of the Valero. Missed like the Texas Children Houston, but 11th of the Valspar. Missed a cut of the Players, but 26th of the Puerto Rico, and 13th at the Cognizant Classic. He's currently 5th on tour in strokes gained putting Bermuda, 28th in proximate hole from 125 to 200, 33rd in green relations. He's 39th in scrambling, 40th in par fours, 82nd in distance, 100th in birdie or better, 108th on approach. Making his debut here this week as well. But long irons are phenomenal. Elite putter on Bermuda so far this season. Good form this entire season. It's not like he's been like in a blurb of, two or three events where he's been, competent. He's been doing this entire season long. I've bet him a few times already in these smaller fields, especially at Puerto Rico. I played him here as well. But 90 to 1 I felt was very criminal for AJ. So it was an auto click for me.
Yeah, Nate, I like the call. He's been very, very solid all season long, and at 90 to 1, I really can't fault you for going back to him.
Yeah, and like Shadar Shah and Yellow Mirage, who kind of just has stolen everyone's thunder out of the Corn Ferry Tour promotions, and especially being Canadian as well, kind of overshadows AJ. And AJ's a good talent in itself, and I think just maybe that overshadowing kind of keeps his number down. But 90 to 1 just is way too low in this field for AJ.
Yep. Moving into my last play here, it's Z Cheng Dao or Marty Dao, better known
Yep.
as. 80 to 1 here. I think he's probably going to be popular, but he was a name that just popped in my head to
Hmm.
play. He missed his last two cuts, one at the Zurich, which is a team event. Happy to throw that out considering the strokes gained data is telling me he gained over 2 strokes on approach per round there. So irons were dialed, must have been the partner. Valero, Texas Open, he missed the cut all on the backs of his putter. He lost 2 strokes per round with the putter. This guy could go nuclear in both directions, which is what I just told you. 80 to 1 for a guy who could gain over 2 strokes per round in literally any category. He brings that plus distance. He brings that spikeable putter. He brings that spikeable iron game. I'm happy to take my shot at him. He has a bunch of solid finishes this year. T21 at the Texas Children's Houston Open, a 17th at the Cognizant, a 13th at the WM Phoenix Open. So he's shown the ability to play some solid golf this year. And even though it hasn't been recent, and that's why it's probably 80 to 1, I think his game fits this course really well. And I think it's a really good shot for him to get his first PGA Tour victory.
Yeah, Jake. So when I build my cards, I have my model, and then I find my short list of 10 to 12 guys. I have them on a different spreadsheet. And then when the odds come, I list the odds and then I sort them and then I put them in categories like who am I going to play in this range, this range, this range. And it came down to Dow and Ewert in that final price range for me. And I obviously went Ewert. So I do have, a feeling that Marty could have himself a week this week as well. And, I like to see like, when I do my models, I sort of my alphabetical so I can, copy and paste stats and stuff. So I see the A's and AJ and all those guys, and down bottom I always see the Z's. It used to be like Zach Blair was when I would just catch my all the time because he was like the last guy. So Zidane Dow is always the last guy I see. So it just always spikes my mind when I'm able to play someone like that because I see his name so often.
Yep.
Just a little fun tip about all that. But yeah, that's it for the Myrtle Beach One Flight. Oh, flip that around. One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic in the golf capital of the United States as well. If you ever have been to Myrtle Beach, I'm sure Jake, you've probably been down there at some point, living here on the East Coast. It's kind of like the East Coast vacation hub, especially for us
Yep.
Northerners in the East Coast. It's kind of like where everyone goes. But yeah, there's this championship caliber golf courses in like every corner. It's kind of weird. Also home, not this course exactly, but the like U.S. or the World's Amateur Finals is here in Myrtle Beach as well, I believe, or used to be at least. But either way, a nice alt field event. So again, I'm one of the in the belief that more golf is good golf, right? So I'm not gonna ever be like, oh, an alt field event, boring, boring, boring. I'm like, give me more golf, give me more golf. Who cares? Because it's more golf that in turn I can bet on, probably lose my money on, but it's obvious that Jake and I are giant golf nerds. I think there's no way around that and no way to sugarcoat that. We're just nerds of the game. Come playing it, studying it, talking about it. Like we do this for fun and we invest. entire weeks in doing this. But yeah,
Yep.
that's it's always fun to have those, especially when you have a rainy Saturday or Sunday and you can have golf from sunup to sundown because of all these happenings this week. And this is definitely one of those because outside of the two
Yeah.
PJ Tour events, we have the DP World Tour event, you have the LPGA in action, you have Live Golf in action. The Hotel Planet Tour is back, and I think the Champions Tour is going as well. So there's seven different tours in action, or seven events at least. So you're gonna have golf where you look. All right, final event of this conversation, Jake, the Estrella Dam Cataluyna Championship. Again, if you've never heard of that, it's because it's the first time this event's being played, and it is essentially put into place by the DP World Tour because 2031 Spain is hosting the Ryder Cup, and they're trying to increase, I guess you would say, interest in golf in the area in Spain in general, which I don't know if you need to because they have, John Rahms and they have some studs out of there, and they've had them in years past, right? But yeah, this event is simply in place to increase tourism to the area, to increase viewership of golf and followings. It's part of the quote unquote road to 2031 in the area. It's a real thing. So yeah, they're trying to spread the building a legacy of Spanish golf prior to the arrival of the Ryder Cup in 2031. This event's being held at the Pink Course at Real Club de Golf El Prat in Barcelona, Spain. The 2031 Ryder Cup, I don't know if I wrote that one down where it's going to be held. It's going to be held at the Catalunya Carmilla Golf and Wellness Resort in Costa Brava near Barcelona. So, fun fact there. Field this week, we have some decent names. We have Jaden Schapper, Dan Bradbury, Julian Guerre, Freddie Schott, Adrian Otagwe, Anthony Duplessis, Nacho Elvira, Brent Weisberger, Eugene Shakara, Sean Norris, and Jorge Campillo, to name a few. And again, very, very strong home presence by the Spaniards. Joining Elvira, Shakara, and Campillo, you have Angel Yura, Alejandro Del Rey, Angel Higaldo, Pablo Laresbal, Manuel Elvira, Rafa Cabrera Belo, among others. So the golf course this week, the Real Club de Golf El Prat, is a par 72 at roughly 7,058 yards. The venue technically was constructed in 1954 along the airport south of Barcelona. It originally was a Javier Arana design, but when the airport looked to expand, it brought the property. Therefore, this club moved north, and a Greg Norman designed team came in to create two new 18-hole layouts. I think now there's five different like 9-hole layouts, and the pink course consists of two of them, the Ariba and the Bosque. They feature wide fairways that plunge quite dramatically away from the tee. 5 holes in the front nine feature tree-lined fairways, as well as the 14th and 15th holes in the back nine. Greens are large in size with subtle slopes and curves. They also feature tricky runoff areas. Bunkers serve as this course's main line of defense, both along the fairways and green side. Bunkers threaten golfers both off the tee and approach. They can be rather penal as well, I've been told, or at least I've read. Excuse me, no one's told me about this golf course. Jeez. Both the front and back nines are end with strong par fives. Each nine features two sets of tough par threes, with only one of them being less than 180 yards in length. Jake, anything to add here about this golf course event or anything before we move forward?
Nope.
All right, you have five guys again here.
Yep.
You know what? I could probably go for some five guys right now, actually, because I am rather hungry, Jake. But lead us off here. Five guys, burger and fries. Lead us off here, Jake. Who you got?
Yep, Jacob Skov-Olsen, 30-1. He's going to be awfully popular this week, but just coming in with some form that's really hard to ignore, dating back to the Qatar Masters. He had a T3, Magical Kenya opened a T5, and then a little bit more recent, Hero India opened a T16, popped at the Zurich Classic with a T4, and then followed that up last week with another T4 at the Turkish Airlines Open. Just following the hot hand here, I felt like 30-1 was a fair number on a guy who just pounds fairways. The irons have looked rather solid and has a really good short game. So I think that this young buck is ready to get a win on the DP World Tour. I believe he's only 20, he's 26 years old, so a little bit older than I
Yep.
thought. But again, I think that he's going to be a candidate to join the PGA Tour this year and via the top 10. And I think that's going to start with a win here this week.
Yeah, he's another one of those up and coming Danish golfers, the Højgaard twins and Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson and Nicholas Norgards of the world, those type of guys. And you have Jacob Skov-Olsen, who I can only think of every time I say his name as the Minnesota Vikings and Skull, right? So that's all I can think of. But yeah, no, I've bet this guy so many times last season. It hurts me that if he goes, it's going to be like a Freddie Shaw. I bet him so much times last year as well. The year before, I bet Julian Guerre 1,000 times and he won. Like it happens all the time for Frederick LaCroix, same thing. Like this is what happens to me on the DP World Tour. So, Jake, you're welcome when Jacob Scovolasa wins this week.
I'll take it. I'm sorry, Nate.
So yeah, the only reason I didn't go with Scovolasa this week is because I went a little bit lower for Eugene and Shakara because we both played on last week, and I'm at 22-1 this week. We're on home soil here for Shakara, looking to play himself into contention and continue on for a PGA Tour card. And I think Jake and I are both in the understanding this is probably a top five, at least a top 10 talent on the DP World Tour. If we're talking regulars, of course. And yeah, 23rd on tour and scrambling, 20th around the green, 20th on approach, 39th on a par fives. He's well rounded. He does what he does. Maybe a little bit lackluster with a putter here or there. 18th last week at the Turkish Airlines Open. Prior to that, 33rd at the Volvo China Open. Of course, the runner-up performance at the Hero Indian Open where he threw that tournament away. Um, but yeah, Eugene Shikara, a premier talent, the DP World Tour. We both bet him last week. He's here on home soil, so 22-1. There's still a bunch of meat in the bone for me. Just didn't go with a five-man card with a four-man card this week.
Yeah, Nate, it's like we flip places here. I bet your car like every single week, and the first week I'm off of him. So
Yeah, wait till my next
the
play. You
karma's
bet him
coming
too.
back your way, but I don't need to harp on it. He's one of my favorite guys, and it doesn't take much to get me on him. But this week I chose a different direction.
Yeah, another guy that would be on the PJ Tour, I think for sure next year season.
Yep, agreed. Moving into my second play here is Hugo Coussard at 50-1. Another guy who's just playing awesome golf, another one of Nate's guys who I'm on, but he just brings that plus distance off the tee. The driving accuracy could be an absolute disaster, but
Yeah, that's
everything
it.
else for him is very competent. The iron game is very solid. The short game could be very solid. And coming in on some really good form, I kind of think he's trending in the right direction to get a win. He has not won on the DP World Tour yet. He's 33 years of age, so I'm thinking it's this week. But the Hainan Classic, he had a 17th place finish. Hero India Open a third, and then last week at the Turkish Airlines Open a ninth. So again, just really good form at 50-1. I thought that was just impossible for me to pass up.
Yeah, for like the last two seasons, Coussard has been like my routine long shot 100, 150, 200 to 1. Like, every single week he kind of pops in the models because the way he plays golf or the distance and all of that. And early this season, even on the Hotel Planetary, he had some great performances, I believe, in Asia at the time or wherever they were. He had some good performances there as well. And his name would pop up. And, I think back to all the times I wasted money on Hugo. And again, this is probably the week where he comes in here and has himself a week and gets a victory, Jake. But it's kind of funny. You have two of my guys. Here's another one of your guys I have on my card this week. Another Frenchman, Martin Couvra, 50-1. And again, I think we're both in the understanding that he's a top 50, probably top or top five, maybe probably more realistically a top 10 or 15 talent in the DP World Tour. We thought he was going to be like a future star last season and he burst on the scene. He's kind of mellowed out since. This is a guy is still a great talent on the DP World Tour. We expected him to have a much better season than he's had so far. It's not like he's had a lackluster season. It's just not what we thought Martin Cooper would come out of the gates here. And we thought he'd rip himself through and get himself a PJ Tour card rather easy. 43rd last week in Turkey. Part of that 20th at India, ninth at the Hainan. Coming to this week, currently on tour, he's ninth in scrambling, 15th off the tee, 26th in three putt avoidance, 27th around the green. Really isn't a glaring weakness to his game. Everything kind of means at least in the top half of the stats of consideration. So 50-1 was a big number here for Martin Couvra, who, again, I think if it came down to Sunday and we're trusting Couvra to get across the finish line as he has before, I would not be, hiding behind my fingers, waiting for the blow up to happen because he has been there, done that, and he's a premier talent.
Yeah, Nate, for people who are loyal listeners, they might think that we're pulling a prank and just
Yeah.
cards and just going over our guys, but believe it or not, we are not. But Kuvra, again, just another one of my guys who I believe in, and I'd be happy to see him get across the finish line here.
Well, Jake, I've been missing so much. I had to figure and to flip something around. I couldn't go with my guys because they weren't working this season on the DP World Tour at all.
Yeah. Nate, this is a guy that you were on last season a bunch. I'm on Darius Van Drill at 60-1. He's been
Two
playing
seasons ago
some
for
really
Van Drill.
Yeah, he's been playing
Maybe it
some
was
like
last season.
sick
Yeah.
golf. Very, very short term. It was an ugly start, and then all of a sudden at the Hero India Open, he had a T18 and followed that up with an eighth in China and then a fourth last week at the Turkish Airlines Open. Trending in the right direction. This guy won on the DP World Tour back in
Kenya.
2024 at the Magical Kenya Open. So he's gotten over that finish line. Albeit he's 36 years old and has one win, so you got to take that as you will. But this is a guy who's just going to pound fairways. The irons have been rather cooperative, and the putter's been cooperating for him as well. So I'm hoping that he could just ride that recent form and just keep excelling into a win this week.
Yeah, and you're not going to get much distance out of him this week, but he's going to
Nope.
find the fairway. He's going to keep it between the sticks, if you want to say that, and give you some chances if he can put them in enough for the birdie or birdies to keep pace. Because I think this is going to be a rather low scoring affair by at least my analysis of the golf course, if that means anything to anyone at this point. I like to believe I know something, but this season's proven not. Either way, no, it's a great play there. I'm going to move on to a seasoned veteran, a JC Ritchie, 65 to 1. And if you're a DP World Tour regular and you don't know, what do you mean? This guy's never won on the DP World Tour before. 7-time winner on the Hotel Planet Tour, including three a season ago. All three of those victories came in Europe as well. Returned to action last week at the Turkish Airlines Open, where he was ninth. Before that was kind of ugly, but yeah, 65 to 1 has it baked into it. Currently 22nd on tour and birdie or better. He's 35th in par fives, 40th in scrambling, 42nd in putting, 43rd on approach, 61st off the tee. I love the play here this week of JC Ritchie. I think he won in like Germany, Austria, and somewhere else last year on the Hotel Planet Tour, but three
Italy.
wins at a what was that?
Italy.
Italy, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. So he's has three victories a calendar year ago on a Hotel Planet Tour, which is the feeder tour to the DP World Tour in Europe. And this is a golf course that no one has seen unless you're, native of the area, possibly. So it's not like it was a advantage in that nature. But I think this guy plays European golf as a whole rather well, as proven there with 7 victories on the Hotel Planet Tour and three last year. So 65 to 1 took a chance here at JC Ritchie.
Yeah, Nate, good odds on just a guy who's very solid and kind of goes under the radar because he doesn't have that DP World Tour win, but this could be his maiden victory on the DP World Tour. Again, not a young buck, but also not
No.
that old. He's only 32 years old, and this is a really good opportunity for him this week.
Yeah, this is a kind of the sweet spot. Uh your peak of golf essentially is like that 30 to 34, 35 range is, for most golfers, right? So we'll see if he
Yep.
gets a victory here this season. And it's sad to think, Jake, that I'm currently in my peak of golf at 32 years old. And if this is my peak, man, I gotta hang the game up.
Nate, don't give up. Moving into my next play here, I believe it is my second to last play. It's Matteo Montecero. I got him at 61. If you woke up early today, you could have gotten him at like 80, 85. I've seen some crazy numbers on this guy. I checked the strokes gained approach on the DP World Tour website, and if you take out the people who only play like every other week, this guy's like a top 3 or 4 iron player, which I was pretty surprised to see on the season this year. He's a guy who just has no distance off the tee. So again, a little cause for concern, but he finds the fairways, the irons are there, the around the green is stellar, and the putter seems to be cooperating rather well. A guy who's also been playing some solid golf. He took a little bit of time off, but Investec South African Open, he had a T24, had a T9 at the Hero India Open, missed the cut at the Volvo China Open, and then had a T13 last week at the Turkish Airlines Open. Just a very solid golfer. Again, 33, 5-time TP World Tour winner. So if he does have that lead down the stretch, I do trust him to get it done, albeit it has been a while since this kid has been in the winner's circle. But, I still think 61 is a rather big number for a talent of his.
Yeah, for sure. No, it is a guy that in 2024 went on to win a PGA Tour card last season. And talk about around the green play for most of the season, maybe all of season. He led the PGA Tour in strokes gained around the green last year. Mateo did. So if you're taking that into consideration, just know that even with the best of the world, he was still hanging with them at least in the around the green aspect. I think that was the only part of his game that kind of had any bit of success on the PGA Tour level as he made himself back to here. But this is a former top amateur in the world. He was on like projection to be a superstar and like Italy like breakthrough and all of this for those guys, and then kind of fell down, had like mental problems with the collapsing and all of that, and took himself out of the game for quite some time. Then recently, before his promotion back to the PGA Tour via the DP World Tour promotion, came back to the game and got himself back into it, as you mentioned, with a 5-time victor in the DP World Tour along the way. So supreme talent. So just get himself back in the swing of things and see if we can't get him back in the win circle.
Yep,
All
12th
right,
in strokes gained on approach for him, by the way.
what was that?
both in strokes gained on approach on the DP World Tour this year. So,
Yeah, so combine that with the, elite around the green play that this guy can bring. I mean, again, no distance whatsoever, but if he can, strong irons and around the green play, you can make up a lot of strokes in a hurry.
yep.
All right, final play for me, 125 to 1, Sean Norris. And yeah, with these large sloping greens with tricky runoff areas, I'm going with arguably the DP World Tour's best putter, and that's Norris. I know currently I think he's third on tour and or second in three putt avoidance and third on strokes and putting yeah. But Anley, he's the best putter on the DP World Tour. So 125 to 1. I'm taking that chance. He's currently second on tour in three putt avoidance, as I mentioned, third in putting, 22nd in sand saves, 26th in birdie or better, 20th in scrambling, 41st on approach, 88th off the tee, 120 around the green, and 120 in par five. Again, no distance whatsoever, but he has top 50 irons on the DP World Tour at 48th. He has decent around the green play, as I mentioned there, at least out of the sand. Off the tee, great, gaining some strokes as well, but the putter is just electric. Going to keep himself in consideration each week. He's one of the DP World Tour, I think as recent as last year or the year before, off the top of my head. So he can get it done at 125 to 1. And all things considered, this is a weaker field. This isn't like it's a normal DP World Tour field. So with the PJ Championship next week and all of that. So yeah, it's a weaker field. So 125 to 1, and you put the world or the DP World Tour's best putter on there, and someone's got to make a few putts down the stretch on Sunday to win. If it's him and someone else, I trust Sean Norris.
Yeah, Nate, I like the call. 125 to 1, I can't fault you there. And, it's going to come down to making putts at the end of the day. It feels like it always does, no matter the tournament. And having the one of the best putters on the tour is always something nice to have in your back pocket if he's in contention. So I like the shout out there. Moving into my last play here, I couldn't leave a Spaniard off the board on my card. I went with Rafa Cabrera Bello at 100 to 1. He ranks 20th on the DP World Tour in strokes gained on approach this week, which was great. Again, not a guy who carries distance, but he does find fairways. He's a very solid putter, and his irons, again, like I mentioned, are just rock solid. He's been really inconsistent. It feels like every other week is a top 25 finish and then a missed cut. And I'm happy to share that he missed the cut last week at the Turkish Airlines Open. So I'm hoping that this is another top finish for him. He can get across the winners, get across the finish line on some home soil here at 100 to 1. This guy's a four-time DP World Tour champion, 41 years of age, last win coming back in 2017. I'd argue he's due for one soon, Nate. So I'm going to go with Bello at 100 to 1.
Yeah, I played him at least once, maybe twice so far this season, and he was, alongside Sean Norris, my choice for my long shot. It was him at 100 to 1 and Sean Norris at 125 on the better number at Norris, and went with the putter and Norris, and that's the only reason I went that. If not, I would be on him with you, especially being on home soil. But I did have Shakara, so it did help. If I didn't have Shakara, I probably would have led to Rafa just because of need at least one Spaniard on there. I love having at least someone for this is a national open, right? But it is on a home soil nonetheless. So, yeah. So that completes all of our content for this week. If you're looking for anything beyond that, Live, LPGA, Champions Tour, Hotel Planet Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, any of that, we do cover that extensively on Out of the Rough, ootrough.com. Myself, I do PJ Tour, DP World Tour, LPGA, Live Golf Tour, and for the last few weeks, I have been doing Champions Tour. I did hit a winner there, so that's better than
Nice.
I've been doing the DP World Tour so far. So yeah, 4 weeks deep there. We did that. We do have Jake who does PJ Tour and offers the DFS side of things. I've stepped away from DFS as I've done, expanded with the LPJ and all that for more betting aspects. So Jake does have that on there. And of course, Andrew at All Tour Golf Bets does the Hotel Planet Tour and Corn Ferry Tour for us. Hotel Planet Tour is back this week after the super long hiatus because of the conflict in the Middle East. They canceled a bunch of tournaments and they're back this week. It's been a very long time for the Hotel Planet Tour. So check that out. If you're listening to this, his article is probably out on our website. And yeah, make sure you drop him a follow on Twitter as well. The most knowledgeable guy about those two feeder tours at All Tour Golf Bets. Doesn't get the love he deserves. Be sure to check out all of his stuff. And Jake, where can people find you on social media?
Yep, you can follow me on X at JakeOOTR, where I share all my outright betting cards. I'd encourage you to join the Out of the Rough Discord, 100% free with no hidden paywalls. The community includes 275 plus members. It's an excellent free resource to have at your disposal. Just reach out to Nate or myself and we can get you the link to join that. Also, we have to plug Cody because he nailed
Oh
another
my
NASCAR
God.
winner this
Yes.
week. This guy is on freaking Fox. So if you're interested in NASCAR or just making money for that matter, it feels like Cody has picked Nate and myself up some weeks and just seems to be on fire. So definitely be sure to check out his content that's shared in our exclusive Discord or shared in the Discord completely free. Just join. Just reach out to us and we'll get you some free money there with them.
Yeah, I'm looking here. There's been one, two. Well, you can skip that. So it's been what? Since the Daytona 500, there's been one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11 events, and he's hit the winner in, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 of 11. He's hit the winner. And, he's had weeks where he's profited 10, 15, 16, 7, 5, 8, 9 units. He's up 20.9 units on the season so far. So if you were to tail him to this point, and just backed away at this point, which I don't know why you would be up a crap ton of money. So again, shout out to our guy Cody. There's been a few weeks. I remember Jakey just hopped on one day, like I don't even know what NASCAR is, but sure, I'll follow you, Cody. And then we both got the winner through Cody that way. And then you had the random, what was it, 2 weeks ago, text from your cousin to bet, and Cody's like, I don't know about that. And then it went on to be the winner, and he was like, I'll be damned. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff on there. Exclusive content from Jake, of course, with the matchups, my first round leader, which I've been just as bad as everything else I've posted so far this season. It's not been a good go of things, guys. But I'm not going to keep trying, or I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to stop trying along the way. Just a great community, guys. The best community in all of golf and golf betting, betting as a whole. Talk about that. 175 plus 275, excuse me, right? 275 is the number,
Yep,
yeah.
75.
People in there, so just check it out, guys. It's free of charge. It's not going to cost you a thing. It's going to cost you a click of a button, and that's basically it. So be sure to check that out. You can follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at NateOOTR. Be sure to check outoftherough.com for everything of all those articles I already talked about. Strokes game putting per grass type, uh, the Out of the Rough one and done, the newsletter. Sign up for it on there. Everything we offer in a weekly basis is on there. Back to Discord as well. I share my full placement charts for every tour we cover, from the PJ Tour all the way down to the Hotel Planner, Champions Tour, Corn Fair. All of that's on there, completely free as well. First round leader charts, all of that. Just click of a button. That's it. All right, guys. Until next time. Yeah, next time PJ Championship. We're in major
Yep.
season once again. Aronimink Country Club, I think his name. But yeah,
Yep.
we'll see you all next week.